Stefaan De Rynck, a senior advisor to Mr Barnier, insisted there can't be two courts ruling over trade agreements being proposed by the UK after Brexit. Speaking at the London School of Economics, he said the EU's most prominent trade agreements, Japan, South Korea and Canada, all have an element of oversight from the European Court of Justice. This will likely frustrate Brexiteers who have demanded the EU's legal system has no influence over Britain's laws after Brexit. Theresa May used her latest Brexit speech to set out her plans for how Britain and the EU can access each other's markets based on a commitment to maintain the same regulatory outcomes. LSEP Brexit News. Stefaan De Rynck hints EU law might be ultimate arbiter of UK-EU agreements. Where there is EU law, there is the Court of Justice, because there can be one ultimate arbiter. Stefaan De Rynck. Mr De Rynck said the EU had moved away from a system of mutual recognition because of the financial crash of 2008. The bloc favors more centralized regulations, claiming if there was a market failure, it meant the EU could step in to intervene, which it will no longer be able to do after Brexit. Mr Barnier's advisor then raised the prospect of a mechanism being required for disputes within Britain's future relationship with the EU. The EU will have to think through how an ambitious partnership would work in terms of the UK's negotiation positions, Mr De Rynck said. Theresa May said, "We are not going to be part of the direct jurisdiction of the Court of Justice, and EU law will not apply in the UK unless Parliament decides so." You point to a lot of models, not the free trade deals, but some of the others, where there is an element of EU law, a substantive element. Where there is EU law, there is the Court of Justice, because there can be one ultimate arbiter. If you say there will be two legal orders, which is what the speech also said, that the UK Parliament can reject EU rules at any time, even after having been closely aligned for some time, you automatically come to the model of the Free Trade Agreement. Monday, February 5, 2018. Michel Barnier and David Davis head to Downing Street for lunch meeting. You create two sovereign jurisdictions, two autonomous legal orders that will somehow need to interact to a free trade agreement, which again can be extremely ambitious. Mr De Rynck also cast doubt on Mrs May's chances of securing a free trade deal with the EU in the future. He said, "The EU has moved away in the wake of the financial crisis from mutual recognition of national standards to a centralized approach with a single EU rule book and common enforcement structures and single supervisory structures."